Let's talk about some of the ridiculous and hypocritical arguments laid out in Alito's draft. Even if you had no idea who authored this piece of trash, you would absolutely know that it was written by a wealthy, white, privileged male. Here's why I say that. He writes, pregnancy wouldn't have an impact on a woman's employment because of all these new anti-discrimination laws we have, you guys. He also cites the Affordable Care Act as a means to pay for medical costs associated with having a child. Oh my God, where to even start with this? First of all, Justice Alito said Obamacare was unconstitutional. Now, all of a sudden, he's using it to bolster his bullshit pro-rape argument. And according to the US Census Bureau, for the most recent stats that they had, 8.6% of Americans had no health care in the year 2020. The US population was 329.5 million at that time. That means that more than 28 million people had no coverage whatsoever, typically because they couldn't afford it, right? They can't afford the policy premiums, or probably because they can't afford the copays and the deductibles. So they just go without. So that argument is a complete joke. Also, I guarantee none of these entitled jackasses has ever had to make a decision like this in their life. Guarantee. You know who has? I have. I became a single mom at 19 years old, and it changed everything. I love my child more than anything in this world, but I will completely admit it 100% changed the trajectory of my life. My goals and my aspirations vanished. So this is a decision that every girl and every woman has to make for themselves. It absolutely damn sure shouldn't be made by any man. And with this workplace protection BS, you can still get passed over for promotions and raises because it's inevitable. You're gonna miss more work when you have a child. They get sick, especially if they're in daycare. They have school holidays. They have school events that you have to go to. They have doctor's appointments and dental appointments. What if you have a child like mine who required abdominal surgery at 5 weeks old? Beyond all that, it's inevitable. You're going to be exhausted. And that's a level of exhaustion that only a parent knows. Unless you've lived through it, you have no idea what it feels like. And it's inevitable that you're not going to be able to put in the hours that your childless coworker can put in. I was passed over for a promotion because I couldn't take continuing education classes that my coworker could take. I had no one to take care of my child at night, to allow me to take these classes. I could barely afford the daycare costs. How was I going to afford nighttime care as well? And these justices don't consider the cost of raising a child. These wealthy white men and little miss white privileged college educated Justice Coney Barrett. That's who's making these decisions. How many children, by the way, are abused by childcare workers or their neighbor across the street, which is all someone can afford in order to go to work? And are they going to help pay for these costs? No, they fight tooth and nail. But the Supreme Court and anti-abortion zealots act as if abortion is being forced upon them. No one's forcing them to do anything other than to mind their own freaking business. And overturning Roe, let's look at this. This would leave this up to the states to decide. They say, let state representatives decide what's right for their state based on what their constituents want. Well, the last time I checked, there was no single state that contained 100% pro-choice or anti-choice citizens. So you're forcing life-changing, life-altering, lifelong consequences onto a very large portion of citizens who didn't even vote for that representative. And many of these states are writing really restrictive, over the top abortion laws that don't even allow for abortion in the case of rape or incest. Like, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but just the other day, Ohio State Representative, I don't know if it's Jenna or Gina Schmidt, she's a Republican, of course. She said that if a 13-year-old became pregnant because of rape, it would be an opportunity for her, you guys. She introduced a bill that would make the performance of an abortion or use of an abortion medication a fourth-degree felony. And there's no exception for rape or incest at any age. So when she was questioned by her colleagues about a hypothetical 13-year-old who had been impregnated due to rape, she said, quote, "It is a shame that it happens, but there's an opportunity for that woman, no matter how young or old, to make a determination about what she's going to do to help that life be a productive human being." She's talking about a 13-year-old child, not a woman, a child. Your brain isn't finished developing until you're at least 22. She went on to say, quote, "Rape is a difficult issue and it emotionally scars the individual for the rest of their life, just as child abuse does. But if a baby is created, it is a human life. And whether the mother ends that pregnancy or not, the scars will not go away, period." Okay. So let's just add to that 13-year-old child's pain. Let's give her a daily reminder of the man who held her down and violated her. This is how fucked up these people are. Maybe if they would deal with their own childhood traumas, they would actually care about others. They'd actually have some modicum of compassion and empathy. But as they say, misery loves company. So I guess that sums up Republican lawmakers. And I would love for Justice Alito and these other anti-women and anti-girl idiots to explain how exactly a 13-year-old is going to financially support a baby. How does that fit into their pull yourself up by your bootstraps, meritocracy, no welfare queen bullshit narrative? No, it's the burden is going to fall on that child's parents. The parents who already went through the trauma of having their 13-year-old raped.